Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and I started doing this last night, and I posted this file on my Facebook page, which is Corel File Share. And I started thinking the original one that I ever saw was like this, that gave it a little bit of more detail. So I'm going to share this new file. I guess I'll call it Aztec Calendar 2. But I just kind of thought I'd show how I did that. And I've got some engraving part where you could put your text into, your name of your company if you want to use these for business cards. So let's put this in the center of the page. Let's move this up out of the way. This is relatively easy to add a little flair. Take your rectangle tool and just draw your rectangle about that size. Now hit P and put it in the center of the page. And you're doing that to make it equal. Now hold down the control button, and that way your edges are equal. Now with and you could leave it like that. Matter of fact, let's just do that. That's good enough right there. But let's see how we want to make both ends equal. So let's try this. Let's hit P back on the keyboard, and let's change our nudge distance to 1/4 inch, 0.25. Let's grab that rectangle. Might be a little bit difficult. And nudge it up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. That'd be too much. So let's go 5 and then change our nudge factor to 0.125 and nudge it up. That's really good. Now Control D and make a duplicate. And then press P and put it in the center of the page. Now 1.25 is equal to 1/4 inch. So what we're trying to do is make everything equal. And then take your virtual segment delete key and delete this outer line, which actually has a little curve to it. Delete that line, delete that line, and delete that line. See how it's giving it a little bit of edge? So we'll delete that line. We're going to delete that line, and the bottom line, and we're good to go. Now what I would do, and I always do this, I would ungroup everything. Hopefully our Aztec calendar will stay grouped together. Doesn't really matter if it does or does not. It did. So let's change our nudge factor now, nudge distance to 3 inches. Let's nudge our Aztec calendar out of the way. And what we're going to do, we're going to basically weld the shape, but I like using the Smart Fill tool. Nudge it out of the way. Get rid of this. Nudge this back. And then left click no outline and right click hairline and make sure it's a hairline. And now everything's equal, and you can nudge your Aztec calendar back. This is going to give you a little detail. But also, how did I create that text box? Just take your rectangle tool and start right there on that node and go that node and then go all the way across. And you've got that node. Now, I'm going to change my nudge distance to like 1/2 inch, 0.5. And I'm going to nudge that up. I'm going to go to Effects, Contour, and I'm going to contour to the inside, not the center, but the inside. It's probably going to have to be bigger than that. Well, that looks good. Let's get rid of our contour tool. And let's go to Arrange, Break Contour Apart. Now grab the contour and move it down. But we need to make it something other than a hairline. So we're going to make it 1 point, but we need to scale with object just in case something happens. That might be a little bit thick. Let's back up here and make it 0.75 of a point. That looks a little bit better. Now, if you remember, we need to make one down here, so you could do the exact same thing, but you've already got it. And what I would do is Control D, double click on it, move it down, and kind of get it close. It'd be better to do that mathematically, but who's going to know after you get it this close? So I'm going to change my nudge distance to 0.001. We're correct left to right. We just need to move it down just a hair to kind of visually make it equal. And I am going to share this file, and then you know, you can put your company logo in there. And what's so nice about this, it'll snap to the center of that. Let's zoom in a little bit. I do have a little company called Express Yourself. Grab the center and just kind of hover around the center, and it should snap to the center of that box, which is not doing it. There it is. And you can always do this. Just select your text, select with holding down the shift button, and go EC, and it'll put it in the center. And then put your phone number down here, your website. I'm going to delete this and delete all the other things. So go to Corel Draw, one word, file share, and it'll be under the file section. I'm going to call this Aztec Calendar 2. Kind of a fun project, give it a little bit of flair. I'm going to delete everything, and I always make sure everything's gone from the page. So I'm going to hit F4, and everything's gone except for that. I am going to group this together, Control G, and I'm going to put it to the top left corner of the page. I have a hotkey for that, so that's where yours will be. So I'm going to save that as Aztec Calendar 2 version 3. Hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.